What's up, awesome YouTubers? Ryan 1988 or Justin back here to do a video for you all. And today I'm here to recommend 10 horror movie Blu-rays that you should buy for the month of October. As we know, the spooky season is upon us, and if you're like me, you're already watching horror movies. But I want to recommend 10 horror movie Blu-rays that are still available to purchase pretty easily, that I recommend you own in your collection and watch during this October season. And if they're streaming, if you can find them, if you want to watch them that way first, that's fine. But these Blu-rays in general are great Blu-rays. And so let's get started. My first Blu-ray I want to recommend is The Legend of Hell House. This is 1969, 1970, somewhere around there, where four people go to this haunted mansion. I'm going to say haunted mansion. And once they arrive, a lot of strange things start happening. Two of them, I believe, are mediums. Then you have a doctor and his wife, and they're trying to get rid of the spirits that are in this house. And again, a lot of crazy things start happening. I absolutely love it. I saw it for the first time about 12 years ago, and it's still one of those movies that creeps me out, and it's very eerie, but it has a perfect Halloween, October, fall atmosphere to it. And so I definitely recommend this one. This is from Scream Factory, and this is a great release. You know, as far as bonus features go, you do get an interview with the director, but the biggest thing about this is the transfer. It looks and sounds great, and it's one from Scream Factory that not many people talk about or probably know about. And I recommend watching this movie. And it's a movie that not really many people talk about in general. So if you're wanting something different for the month of October, check out The Legend of Hell House. I absolutely love it. I added a sort of modern horror movie on this list, though this came out over 20 years ago. It's still modern, you know, ish. So, but that is Ghost Ship. You know, a divisive movie for some people who have seen it, but I love it now. I love the atmosphere. I love haunted ghost ship movies, you know, these abandoned ships that, you know, there's something wrong with them. And this one is a haunted ghost ship. Everybody knows about the beginning of the movie, even if you haven't seen it. It's a great opening, and how they pulled that whole thing off is awesome. But I think in general, this is a great movie. And it's from, let's see, I think it's Ghost Castle or Dark Castle Entertainment. They brought you House on Haunted Hill from 1999, 13 Ghosts, House of Wax, so many other movies. Ghost Ship is definitely one of their more underrated movies, and you don't hear a lot of people talk about this one. And again, it's divisive with horror movie fans out there and movie fans in general, but I love it, and I recommend picking it up. I think it's pretty cheap too. I think you can get the Scream Factory release, or you can get like the standard Blu-ray, but it is still available, and you might actually be able to stream it too. So again, if you don't want to go out and buy the Blu-rays right away, if you could stream the movies, watch them this October. But this is a great Blu-ray. It has some great bonus features. Scream Factory did a great job with this, and you know, it's about a group of crew members who sailors. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. Oh, crew members who, you know, come across this abandoned ship, and once they get on the ship, a lot of strange things start happening and ghosts start appearing. So, love Ghost Ship. Check it out. The next one is a Dario Argento movie that has sort of a fan base, but as far as like a lot of Dario Argento movies go, this one doesn't get enough talk, and so I recommend it. That is Inferno. It's the second of the Three Mothers trilogy, and one of my personal favorite Dario Argento movies. Again, the second movie in the Three Mothers trilogy. This one takes place in New York, pretty much in this apartment complex. And like with Suspiria, a lot of crazy things start happening, and one of the three mothers lives in this building. And so I just love the movie, and I think it has a great, or it does have a great soundtrack. Big fan of the soundtrack. I don't think Goblin did this soundtrack. I think you have a lot of other different artists that did this soundtrack. But great cast, great atmosphere. Again, like with Suspiria, the atmosphere is so good, and Dario Argento uses great colors in this movie. 19, I believe, between 1982 and 1985 is when this movie came out, or maybe even 81. But Inferno, definitely check it out. That one might be a little bit pricier compared to others, but I think the last time I saw it, it was around $19.99. So I recommend it. And if it's streaming somewhere, definitely watch it that way if you like. The next one is going to be Deadly Friend from Wes Craven. A little bit more well-known than some of the other movies on this list, but still, I don't hear a lot of people talk about the movie. It has a fan base. You do hear people talk about it, but I don't come across, YouTubers every day that talk about this movie. This is a great and fun Wes Craven movie. He directed this right after Nightmare on Elm Street. It was either this or The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, where he directed 2 movies after Nightmare on Elm Street, and this was one of them. And it is fun. It's creepy sometimes. There's a couple of dream sequences in this movie that are a little bit creepy. Pretty cool, actually great premise of a movie. I like the premise of the film, and I just absolutely love it. I don't want to talk too much about the premise if you've never seen it, but definitely just kind of go into this movie not really knowing too much about it, because even the trailer sort of gives away what the movie's about. So watch the movie without seeing trailers, without hearing too much about it, and check it out. It's a really fun Wes Craven movie. And during the 80s, Wes Craven directed some really great movies that not many people talk about these days. So Deadly Friend, I love it. The next one is Fright Night Part 2 from 1988. This one people know about, but I don't know how many people have seen it. And if you have seen it, it's probably been a long time, because for whatever reason, we have not got a US Blu-ray, and there's really not too many physical media releases of this movie. And I don't even know if it's streaming right now. But I came across this Blu-ray on eBay for $25. I think it's worth it. I have always loved this movie. I rented this movie quite a bit at the video stores. For me, it's one of the best horror movie sequels out there, and one of my favorite vampire films. But Fright Night Part 2 picks up about 3 years after the events of the first movie. Charlie Brewster is now in college. He has a new girlfriend, and he comes across this new character, or this new person that comes into the town, named Regine. And you find out she is a vampire, and she's a vampire sibling she's the sister to Jerry Dandridge, and she's wanting to seek revenge on Charlie Brewster, and Peter Vincent for killing her brother. And she wants to, seek revenge on anybody in their lives, pretty much. But Fright Night Part 2, it's awesome. I've always loved this movie. And again, this Blu-ray is definitely worth owning. It looks and sounds great. No bonus features on it, but this movie, if you have the You're So Cool Brewster documentary, the movie's talked about on that documentary, and it is great, pretty much bonus material. You hear about the first movie, you hear about the second movie, you hear about why this movie got a short theatrical release, and then why it's never really had a physical media release. You know, there's an out of print DVD that I also own. There's this Blu-ray and I think another overseas Blu-ray. However, again, it's really sad that this movie doesn't get more love and doesn't have proper physical media releases out there. Again, this Blu-ray is worth owning. Again, on eBay, I got it for $25, and it looks and sounds amazing. I think the best the movie's ever looked. The next one is another Wes Craven movie, and that is Deadly Blessing. When I first heard about this movie, we didn't really have a DVD release of it, and then Umbrella overseas released it on DVD, and I bought the DVD. It didn't really work, and I had to wait until I got a region-free player to play it, so that's why it didn't work. So it took me a while to see this movie. However, when I did, I absolutely loved it. And then about 3 years after buying that DVD, we got a Blu-ray from Scream Factory, and this is that Blu-ray. This would definitely be a movie that if Scream Factory released it on 4K, I would buy it right away. I love this movie, and I think it would look great on 4K. There's a lot of great daytime scenes outside that I think would look awesome on 4K. And it's been a long time since we've had a brand new release of Deadly Blessing, so I think the transfer would definitely be better. This is still a great Blu-ray, so until we get that 4K, I recommend this, and you can get this again pretty cheap, and it's definitely worth owning in your collection. It's about a woman whose husband is killed one night, and a lot of supernatural things start happening once her friends come into town, and they are terrorized by this being that they don't know what it is until, you know, towards the very end of the movie. But love Deadly Blessing. Sharon Stone, or early role from her, and a great cast all around. Ernest Borgnine, Michael Berryman, the late Susan Bunkner from Grease. She was in Grease, so great cast, and highly recommend it. The next one is a Kevin S. Tenney movie, and that is Witch Trap. Very cheesy, I'll say that right away. So if you buy this movie, know that it is a cheesy movie. Mostly because of the dubbing that's in this movie. So there's a great interview with Kevin S. Tenney where he talked about how when they were making the movie, something went wrong with the audio, and so when they went back and they watched the movie, you couldn't hear what people were saying, so they had to bring in the actors and have them do an audio track for the movie. So there's dubbing in this movie, and you can definitely see the dubbing, but it is them talking. It's just they had to go back and do the audio track. Linnea Quigley, she has a role in this movie. Some other familiar faces from Kevin S. Tenney's previous movies, Witchboard and Night of the Demons, are in this. And this came out, I believe, after Night of the Demons, and, you know, it kind of went away and no one really talked about it. I remember seeing this from an old renting it from an old video store, mom and pop video store, and loving it. And I still love it today. It is so campy, but it is great. And so if you've never seen Witch Trap, it's a great Vinegar Syndrome release, and it's pretty cheap all around. So definitely pick up Witch Trap. I believe this one is streaming, I want to say, on Amazon Prime or Peacock, one of those. I was, you know, going through their, you know, movies that they had on their streaming services, and Witch Trap was on there. And I was really surprised because for the longest time, we didn't even have a DVD release of this movie. There was only a VHS copy of it, and then we got this Blu-ray, and it's on streaming. That's just so crazy to think that this little gem of a movie is now on streaming, too. Another Kevin S. Tenney movie, I mentioned it before, and I think out of his two more popular movies, you know, Night of the Demons is very well received with a lot of horror movie fans. It is one of those movies that is great to watch around, you know, Halloween. It takes place on Halloween. But my personal favorite Kevin S. Tenney movie is Witchboard. Still, it's a well-known movie, but it's not as well-known as Night of the Demons and some other 80s horror movies that came out during the time. Stars the late Tawny Katane. I miss her so much. I met her. So sweet. I'm glad I met her. And you have, Stephen Nichols from Days of Our Lives. Todd Allen's in this. Kathleen, I'm not even gonna pronounce her last name, but she was Zarabeth in the movie. She is the fun psychic that you see in this movie. This is a legit scary movie. Like, I feel this is probably his most scariest movie, Kevin S. Tenney. Night of the Demons is pretty creepy, but that's like fun horror, and I love that. It's a fun horror movie with spooky moments throughout. I find this one to be just legit scary. Like, I could sit and watch this by myself in the dark, but every time I do, it freaks me out. There are some chilling moments in this. The way he directs, certain scenes in the film is really creepy. At one point, you get a point of view kind of shot of characters, and there's this ghost that's supposed to be following them, and you don't see the ghost, you just see their reaction of the ghost chasing them. And I think it's great. There's a moment in the movie that when you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's one of the scariest scenes in the film. There's a good seance scene with, again, the character Zarabeth, and that's creepy and eerie. This is just a pretty underrated movie that, again, people know about it, but not enough people talk about it. And maybe you came across it on streaming and you had no idea what the movie was, so you kind of skipped over it. Or you have seen this Blu-ray online, but you weren't sure if it was good or not because you didn't hear a lot of people talk about it. Witchboard has always been a movie I loved, and I definitely recommend it. It is worth owning in your collection. And then the last two are pretty underrated 70s and 80s slasher movie thrillers. The first one is He Knows You're Alone. Definitely an underrated 80s slasher movie. It has an early appearance from Tom Hanks, one of his first movies. And he has a small part, but he's, great in it. This is a great slasher. Takes place around a character who's getting about ready to get married, and there's a killer going around stalking her and her friends. He Knows You're Alone. One of my personal favorite 80s slasher movies that, with a lot of the slasher movies and the horror movies that came out in the 80s, this kind of fell under the radar. Where I've heard most people talk about this is in a great slasher movie documentary called Going to Pieces, which I have that documentary. It's a documentary about slasher movies. I wish that would get a Blu-ray. That would be awesome. But not many people talk about He Knows You're Alone, and it's got a great opening that takes place in a theater. I really love the opening. One of the first characters you legit see in this movie is he's from Friday the 13th Part 2, and you'll know who I'm talking about when you see him in this movie. Absolutely love He Knows You're Alone, and it's really suspenseful. It's got a great story to it, and it's very creepy. So love He Knows You're Alone. Check it out if you've never seen it. And of course, I want to talk about a John Carpenter movie because he is my favorite director of all time. And his movie I'm talking about is Someone's Watching Me. Laurie Hutton, Adrienne Barbeau, the late Charles Cyphers, they're all in this. Lauren Hutton is a journalist or news reporter who moves to, I believe it's LA. She is getting a new job. She gets hired on that new job, so it's a big thing for her. And then she finds this awesome, skyrise apartment building or apartment complex. Apartment. And she's really happy with it. And then weird things start happening, and somebody is watching her, and she sees this person from the building across the street from her, and start stalking her, and it's really eerie, it's really creepy. The amazing thing about this movie is that it was a made for TV movie, and when you watch the film you kind of see that, but it's amazing what they did for this movie. You would think that some of the scenes were, theatrical budget, scenes, but it's a TV movie. It's awesome. I've always really enjoyed this movie, and I now love the film. And it came out the same year that he shot Halloween, so 1978. I believe he shot this after Halloween, so I think it was ABC when the movie came out. I think that was the original TV premiere of it. I could be wrong, but it's an awesome movie. It's an awesome TV movie, and I recommend someone's watching me. So that is 10 horror movie Blu-rays that I recommend that you own in your collection, especially during the October season coming up. They're worth owning and buying and watching, and I love these movies, and I've seen these countless times. So definitely check out and pick up these 10 horror movie Blu-rays that are must-owns for this October season. And if you want to see a part 2, maybe I'll do that down the line. Maybe this October I'll do a part 2, kind of early October, so you can buy these. But I'll also do a 10 must-own 4K, horror movie 4K Blu-rays that you should own in your collection. So stay tuned for that. I wanted to start with Blu-ray. I still love the Blu-ray format, and there are some movies that aren't available on Blu-ray. Not available on 4K. They're available on Blu-ray, but you still can't get them on 4K. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well, and I'll definitely talk to you later. So in with the positive, out with the negative. Y'all are awesome. Y'all rock. And I'll see you next time. All right. Bye.